Wonderful. And I'm going to share my screen for a second, and we're going to take you through sort of what we've got planned for tonight and have some fun here. So yes, so the book, Stop Flocking Around, the Albatross Can Teach You About Navigating Change. It's actually what Alex the Albatross can teach you. I will fix that later, but it's good for now. And what we're going to do tonight with our beautiful time together, Casey and I are going to talk a little bit about our journey so far, so you're completely caught up. In fact, I even got a little recording that I've put together to play from our car brilliance, from when we first put the idea together.
Original conversation.
On a car ride back from Midland, where we were at the Women with Wisdom Circle thing.
Yes.
Oh, Leanne and Deanna.
Yes, I know. I can't remember.
Okay. And we're going to do the big reveal. And we're going to show you the cover, and we're actually going to read Alex's story that's at the front of the book. So we're going to do that. And then we get a short focus group. We've got
Wise women.
Wise women. Thank you. Yes. And then we're going to do a short focus group. We have some questions for you to help us put together the packages, because people are like, I want to buy a lot of books, or I just want to buy one book. And we want to make sure that as it goes together, it makes sense and everybody has what they need. So let's start with our journey.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it started at Wise Women.
It did. I was speaking and it got Karen thinking, and then she was drawing pictures. Yeah. And then we were on the way home, we ended up having this amazing conversation. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is car brilliance. Let's put the recorder on. And so we actually recorded our conversation almost an hour, I think.
Yeah, on the way back.
Yeah.
And here is just a snippet of it.
You need it before you're willing to put in the effort, right? Because the effort has to come from somewhere. Yes. So if you're going to pull time, money, and energy from other places in your world to focus it in a single place, that requires a worthy conversation. With yourself. Yes.
Let me try this.
You need it before you're willing to put in the effort. Right. Because the effort has to come from somewhere. Yes. So if you're going to pull time, money, and energy from other places in your world to focus it in a single place, that requires a worthy conversation with yourself. Yes. Yes. Yeah, so okay, cool. So you had this thing you want. The higher the value of that thing, the more resistance is going to be applied. Yeah. Therefore, the amount of effort required to create the momentum and focused effort. Yes. So the amount of so in order to create the amount of focused effort, you must feel worthy of the thing you desire. Right. Or you would never put the boundaries in place. Right. You would never feel as though you could take time, money, and energy away that is going to affect other people unless you live in a hole. Yeah. Right? That you feel worthy to actually ask for support in your endeavor. Yes. That you would actually be vulnerable enough to share with other people that you're going to do a thing. Right. And that you would feel like, what level of audacity do you feel that you can actually go and do this? And do you feel worthy enough to actually imagine it happening? Right. Because you have to visualize it happening. And it can be something that builds, right? Like it's a decision. It's also, it's like believing you're worthy of it means that, like, allows you to be worthy of it.
So that's basically been us for the last 2.5 years.
So if there's this, then there's this, and it creates that. And then there's this.
Yeah.
This is kind of how we go.
Yeah. So that's from you got a glimpse into like the very beginnings birthing of the book. So
some good stuff there.
We did. We also decided, I laughed so hard tonight while I was rewatching it, is that we decided that we were going to write the whole book in 30 days. in order to prove our thought about how to get through resistance. And Alex had other ideas.
Yes.
In fact, it wasn't even Alex yet. Do you remember the name of the book before the first focus group?
The first was Velocity?
Escape Velocity. The entire metaphor analogy was around like a rocket ship and how much is required to reach escape velocity so you get away from the Earth. And
then we ran our focus group.
Yeah, and everybody's like, space scares me. I don't think I want to be in space and off of this pleasant, fabulous Earth that I'm on. And we're like, oh,
metaphor is not working.
Not working.
So actually, one of our focus group people gave us we came up with a metaphor, but then one of our focus group people actually gave us the title of the book.
Absolutely. This is the second focus group.
Yeah.
And we were going with this new analogy that we had because, and we watched that movie about albatrosses, which made us cry, but it was good, taught us a lot. And then, the title just came out of someone's mouth at the focus group, and it was like, that's perfect. And it locked in at that point.
It did.
So we spent time, a couple times we've had like 2-day writing retreats. And one of the things we learned really early is that Alex had its own schedule. If we started to force it, things would shut down. And we're like, oh,
I guess we're not working on that for a while.
Yeah. But it was still percolating. It was still working.
Yes.
And what we figured out was happening is that we were going through the actual process that we were writing about in the book. There were parts in the book we hadn't experienced enough in our world to be able to articulate.
It's true. And as we had our own experiences, we were able to articulate, we were able to write. We actually have probably twice as much of the book written that is not in the book.
I pulled it out.
Because by the time we got to where we are, it wasn't necessary.
Yeah. So, I remember we were at Jackie's for a writing retreat and we it's done. He was like, no, we totally finished it. And then we read it and went, oh no.
No.
And we moved stuff around and pulled stuff out and added other stuff. And we went from 21 tools to 3.
Yes.
But it was every single part of the process got us to the next step. There was never any wasted step or any wasted time.
No.
So that was a lot of fun. And then we started looking for publishers. Then how are we going to do that? And then we engaged with Friesen Press last November.
Yeah, I guess a year ago.
Yeah. And then went about just the editing and the reading and the changing and this year's been harder because it hasn't been as creative.
Yeah. And we've done a bunch of focus groups, which have been great. And it has been a little bit more effort. The creative piece is so much fun.
Oh, it is. It's so good. And if you hear any snoring,
I was like, is that your dog snoring?
That's my dog snoring. That's
awesome.
Haley. Haley is sawing logs there under the desk. So, and I can't reach her enough to wake her up. So it just is what it is. And then we got right into the process. So as soon as we put the manuscript in, the clock sort of started with the publisher, and we put in the first round. And we put in what we thought might be the book cover. It came back, and I got on the phone with Bruce. I went, Bruce, it's not very good. He's like, oh no, it's bad.
It's bad.
It's very bad.
Yeah.
He's like, this is wrong with it. We couldn't tell. We just know it wasn't right. He's like, this is wrong with it. This is wrong with it. He says, let me mock something up for you. And I think we made 2 small changes. And locked in the cover.
Yes. We love you, Bruce. That's awesome.
Bruce has years in the publishing industry, and so he I don't think you were specifically doing book covers, but I think you were so immersed in it for so long. So can you tell us a little bit of your story about how you put that together, what you thought was important?
Well, the original cover had a lot going on. There was a lot. It was a busy background and a lot of I found it a lot of confusion, and I just tried to simplify. That's really all I did. I just focused on, you guys will see the cover, but I just focused on the illustration and then just kind of stripped everything else away. I mean, even we had a bit of a blue border around it that for technical reasons we had to get rid of, and I think that probably makes it even cleaner. So I just went with something clean, the illustration, tried to keep the type simple.
That's amazing. It's great. And we've loved working with Carmen. She was the illustrator for us, who has done some just amazing things. And she was really easy to work with. And again,
Yeah.
what people were bringing to us was so close that there were like these minor tweaks that
Yeah.
needed to happen.
So such small pieces.
All right.
So
So let's just talk, I think they can wait a little longer.
Okay.
Everybody loves an open loop. So next steps. So after tomorrow, we actually place the order for a short run of books. Tomorrow, the order goes in for hardcover copies, and we're considering whether or not to also order some soft cover. But the hardcover copies, when they come, it's a short order, and they're all going to be numbered, and they'll all be signed. So they're a special run. It's not on Amazon. It's not anywhere else, because when you go onto Amazon, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you need to do. Yeah. And it's a lot of time and effort that we're going to do next year. We're just in our lives, not in a place where we can do it justice, because your first realm into that world, like when you're first wherever, if you take, it's a long jump, right? And I mean, you can take a running start, and the further you can get, the better. But from a standstill, which is kind of where we are, is not going to work. But we wanted to make sure that the people that have been with us don't have to wait that long, just because we weren't ready for the big thing. So this is all very, very local. It's us,
community only.
Yeah. And we were told that we can get the books by Christmas. So we're going to do that. And then what we're going to do starting in the new year is people have told us they want to engage with the Book Change Club. The idea to come together around the book and do the work together. And we've had people wanting to facilitate them. And so we're going to figure out how that works together. We'll get into them, whoever wants to participate. We'll start mapping out your changes, and we'll just figure out what tools you need and what's happening. So by the time we do the big launch, probably in March, we'll be in a situation where those will all be settled, and we'll have facilitators, and it'll be awesome. We'll just do that together. So we've learned to be patient.
Yes.
Sort of one thing at a time. So that's the trajectory of the entire thing. Any questions before I close the loop on the book cover? All right, I won't keep you waiting any longer. All right, so, yeah, so we're actually going to hold the book. We have a pre-release copy.
Yes.
So we got it in our hot little hands here.
Our little hands.
So Casey's going to show you, and then I will share the screen again, and you can see the
actual, because it's a bit glary. So dun dun dun. Here it is. So, and then we'll share the screen so we can.
Whoops! There we go. Yes.
Share screen. And here's what it looks like.
Stop Flocking Around, what Alex the Albatross Can Teach You About Navigating Change by Karen Cullicutt, Karen Kessler, and illustrated by Carmen Ben Essen. There we go. That's what we've been waiting for. So yes. So thanks again, Bruce, for making it look so amazing.
Yes.
We don't have the picture for the back. We have a friend who's an author who's written like 30 books. And he wrote us a testimonial for the back, and we've got a little synopsis for it, and all that comes together. It is 8.5 by 8.5. It is square, and that allowed us, especially in the first couple of sections, to put like one chapter on a page. Yeah. So we really wanted people to be able to go in and just do it a bit at a time and submerge ourselves in it. So Casey, why don't you read us Alex's story?
I would love to. Alex the Albatross changed. Ready?
I'm ready.
So far, life checked all the boxes. Alex is warm in this small world. There's a familiar voice chirping in the background and a never-ending food supply. The only fuss is when the egg flips over or the light changes quickly and disturbs the deepest of slumber. Things settle into a rhythm that's familiar and safe. Even when there's a surprise flip, there is trust that everything will settle soon enough, and it does. Until one day, it doesn't. The signs are subtle at first. The egg starts to get cramped. Then the noise and the bustle outside ramp up, and all this just after the food runs out. The need to peck the shell starts automatically as a new sensation of hunger awakens in Alex's body. The egg suddenly seems extraordinarily small. Time seems to stand still amid all the effort and focus. Then for the first time, air rushes into this world. Alex is upside down, tired from pecking and just wants some help. Alex is unaware of how vital it is to claim this new world. As the new world floods in, the senses feel assaulted. It's louder and brighter and so confusing. Alex leans heavily on instinct and in that moment breaks free. Looking around, Alex notices others who are also tired and cranky. There are a few other naked birds squawking for food and huddling for warmth. As the next day dawns, Alex understands this about the world. Sometimes it's bright and then it's dark, and the straw in the nest is always pokey. Over a few cycles, a routine starts to appear. Big birds bringing food and cover for everyone Big birds bring food and cover everyone for warmth and protection. Alex wonders what else this new world has in store. Days pile up and the restlessness grows as fast as feathers. Sometimes the wind catches a wing while they're playing and one of them lifts up a bit. So scary and fun. Everyone talks about flying out of their nest and taking to the skies, but it's all talk. Every one of them is still there waiting when the big birds come back with supper. Decision day doesn't start any differently for Alex. There isn't any clue that this will be such an important day. All the playing in the surf and the wind has only been fun and games up until now. Alex catches sight of other young albatross running awkwardly towards the water, taking a great leap, getting some air, and then landing in the water. Alex watches as the other birds march back up the beach again and again. It's quite a sight, and Alex laughs at how focused these young albatross are, seemingly unaware of the spectacle, until one of them catches air and begins to climb higher and higher. The wind brings back the cry of joy to their ears. In that instant, Alex sets sight on the skies too. All day, Alex wears a track back to the start of the runway, learning all of the ways to not get in the air. It's tiring, and still Alex perseveres. Then, with a mix of will, updraft, and timing, Alex is airborne. The emotions coursing through this albatross's body are mixed and intense. The option to land right away flickers through Alex's thoughts and is immediately abandoned. Flying high is the goal, and it's time to enjoy it. Over the following weeks, Alex spent time landing, taking off, learning to fish, and creating ease in flight. New skills present themselves to hone, and the new strength building in Alex's muscles proves up to the task. By the end of the season, Alex leaves the little island, traveling thousands of leagues, soaring gracefully and reveling in the joy of flight. It is all worth it.
Yeah, that.
Right?
Wow.
Happens to me every time. I can't read it.
I know.
So that is a change journey as
Yes.
experienced by Alex. And then the book is about helping people understand it from a human perspective. What is the journey? How do you tell where you are on the map of the change journey? What tools do you need to get there? People are telling us, as our lead readers, that for the first time, they actually don't feel crazy anymore, like they're
Yes.
broken. They actually know what's to expect. They're actually exactly where they're supposed to be. And now they know the next step to take. So it is a exciting thing.
It is. I love the how many people of our lead readers talk about what Alex would do,
Yeah.
right? Or how Alex would respond. And people really have connected with Alex and Alex's story and the process, and that it is a process.
Yeah. That you do over
and over again. And we do it in big changes, and we do it in little changes, and we do it in our whole world.
And for many of us, we have many changes all open and happening all at the same once,
Absolutely.
which is why we feel like we're going crazy.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Yes, big breath. Any questions at all before we move into the focus group piece? I think we will be done early.
Oh, yes.
Hey, it's Jill here. Can you hear me?
Yes, Jill.
Hey, lovelies. I love that. I haven't been as much part of the Leap Read group, and so I think that's the first time I've really heard Alex's story. And I know how much you both love metaphor and stories. How much of your sort of effort, time, or focus went into that part? Because it sets the whole tone for the rest of what you're going to do. So it's important, it's structured well, and it feels right. So I'm just curious, did it flow easily, or was it a bit of a tough one? Or
Itself.
Yeah.
it what?
Itself, and it wrote itself, and then actually created the whole structure for the book. It was our guiding light.
Yeah. And then we went back and did a little editing, word choice here or there,
But not much.
no, it flowed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful story.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Okay. The focus group piece. So we have some questions for you. So we've done some math and done some things, and we've been listening to what people are saying. People like Catherine are like, I want to buy this many books. And so we want to find a way for the people that have been close to us and supporting us, and everybody's here, that you have an opportunity to do what you need to do and feel like you also got something special out of it. So let me just lean on the slide here so that
That'd be a full
since I did the work.
Yes. Do you need a tissue?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
So bad. This happens every time. Because I see it, right?
Oh.
I see him and I'm like, go Alex. Anyway,
Go, Alex.
just a little attack. Okay. So we want to create amazing packages. Some of the packages we'll be able to do right now. Others we can think about putting together for, the bigger launch. So these are some of the questions we're looking to hear from you. We want to know.
Go ahead.
I
You need to
forward
do
the
this.
slide. Yeah.
Fine. I'll stop driving.
She started driving on me. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Don't touch the grocery cart. Right, Mom?
So, like, how many books? Like, oh my goodness. So the sort of list price for a hardcover book and signed. And at one point in the book, we ask you to send us a postcard. So we're actually including a postcard that's addressed to us. So we're hoping that people, when they get to that point in the book, will fill it out and send it to us. We want to collect the postcards. So we're looking at about $25 for that, for the hardcover signed. And that's what, so the world will have it at, but that's roughly if you were to buy one sort of thing. So we'd like to have an idea. We're not asking you to make a commitment. We're just saying roughly how many books, so that we get an idea that we don't order too many or not enough. Also, the idea of the book change club, does that interest you? Because we were thinking about, depending on the number of books, including a seat in that. We were thinking that it was likely going to be about $100, take probably 12 weeks to go through.
Yeah.
And everybody, will read the book and then have an opportunity to really go through and do the work, track how many changes do you have going on in your world? Let's get some small ones done. Where are we? Yeah. And just do the learning and the work together with that. We're also looking about, I already mentioned that, just a hardcover signed number copy.
Yeah, and is that interesting? Does that appeal? Do you care?
Yeah, if it's not interesting and you don't care, we're getting thumbs up. Okay, well,
good.
we're going to get a chance to chat. We just want to give you all the questions and then we can hear from you. Now the postcards are going to have the illustrations on them and probably some cool stuff. And we're going to do a couple of things. We're probably going to get about 5 different ones. Yeah. One that people can send to us, and then a set of 4. So we thought is it just the one postcard? Do you like the idea of being able to get a set as a gift that you can give with a book? Does that interest you at all? And what else do you think would be cool? Even if we couldn't make it available by Christmas, could maybe be available later. So we just want to open it for everybody to tell us what you think. And we don't have to take notes because you are being recorded. And yeah, just go. Let us know. Catherine, why don't you start? Because you've already been wide open. You're buying books. You post that every month. When is it ready?
You've written it on 7 places on the Facebook group.
Well, why am I hearing myself here? I don't
Yeah,
know
no, you
why.
sound okay to us though.
Okay. When I first heard of this project, and then I heard what the title was and everything as that evolved, and my first thing was, oh my gosh, they're talking about me. This is me. And anyway, I am looking at between eight to 10 books.
Okay.
And yes, absolutely, for the book Change Club. And to see through completion and involvement and commitment.
Talk to you about it. I mentioned that I'm gonna go right home and I'm gonna send it. So both our stuff is not, I guess both our stuff is not getting to each other.
Kevin?
Oh, yeah, I think it's coming.
There we go.
There,
Awesome.
I was like, where is it coming from? I
Now
can hear it.
there's one other thing that's important too. Jackie, are you available? I know you just got home.
Yes.
Can you tell us, one of the things that we did is tested with younger readers. So we've had as young as 11-year-old engage with the content, read it along with her mother that got it. That sort of these, what you would think, things that we're just learning at this age, and people around us are going, wow, oh my God, I wish I knew that. 11 years, like, yeah, and actually getting key things that mattered for her. But Jackie, you had one of your clients who I believe was 16 read it. Can you tell us her reaction, please, so people get an idea about ages? Because it's important to make sure that the right age groups are engaging with the content.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's a 16-year-old girl, high performance athlete, got a lot of things going on in her world. And Karen and Karen were gracious enough to loan me a copy to let her read. And so she took a day, she was sitting in the middle of her paddock with her horse in the sunshine one day and read the book cover to cover, thinking this is kind of silly little bird book at first. And her response to me was amazing. I think I sent you this. She wrote this massive email. She was in tears. She couldn't believe how much the book was speaking to her, and she could pinpoint exactly where she was in the change process. And she was so excited because for the first time she felt like she wasn't alone. And she actually had hope because she's like, oh, I'm not nuts. I'm not alone. And I'm right here. So which means all I have to do is this and this and this, and I'm on my way out. I remember the other big thing she said is she believed that every high school in the world should have one. She thinks every teenager should read this book because she said it helped her so much. And it was such an easy read and she loved it. Yeah. So I'll be getting her a copy.
It takes about 45 minutes to an hour to read, depending on
How fast
you read and whether or not you want to put it down. And
well, and it's funny because my other friends said, I totally get that I could read it in 45 minutes to 60 minutes, but there was so much in it that I kept having to stop and think. And then I went to go for a walk and then I would come back and read more. So that was cool feedback as well.
I always said I wanted to be in every bathroom in the world, that you could just pick it up and get a little something out of it and then come back and get a little something else.
I love your goals. It's so good. Yes, we're going to put that on the cover of the next book.
Yeah, the best bathroom.
Love you.
The second printing.
That's right.
Seen in 45 million bathrooms around the world. Anybody else want to respond to our focus group
I'm
question?
just curious, what exactly, can you explain the book Change Club a little bit? What is that?
So we want to find out together. So we're both have a lot of experience of organically putting programs together. So everyone, I think, has heard of a book club where everybody gets together and reads the book and then they get together, have wine and cheese and talk about it. We want to put something together where people read the book and then go through the exercises together, go through and actually map out all the changes going on in the world. Where are they? Make some decisions and support each other through that and really learn. And we've got like those 21 tools. So we'll probably bring out some of the other tools that we've got. But the idea is of figuring out how long does it need to be and how does that work so that other people can go and facilitate those. there are already people that have said to us, you know, like they'll buy, they want to do a book change club, so they'll buy all the copies they need, and people will come in and do it, and we're excited about that.
Yeah, we actually talked about, you know, sort of how we might sort of get the book in people's hands, and it came actually up in one of our focus groups. One of our focus group participants had said, you know, you really not just do the book club thing where you just read it and talk about the book, but actually facilitate people's change processes, because everyone's going through them. And so, and having a community to be able to, you know, where you've got the same language and be able to talk about what's happening in your world and facilitate those changes can be hugely helpful. So
Okay.
that's the plan of it.
All right, thank you.
Great question. Bruce, do you have your hand up?
I do, thank you. Your question, or the question that came to my mind was the price, and I'm sure you've thought a lot about that. But you know, the average hardcover novel is about $35. And I wonder if it wouldn't be, I mean, not that I'm trying to get everyone here to pay more for their book, but $29.95 might not be a terrible price. And it would give you an extra $5 per book and give you a little bit more of a margin, especially if you try and sell it retail. You might have to, you know, pay retailers. The question I had about, you said numbers, how many? One of the questions I had was, do you anticipate that you're going to want to come out with a new edition where you're going to add material or change material, because that might really sort of affect your decision. Maybe you don't want to do 1,000 copies right now because, you know, you're going to a year from now want to change it, but that's just something to keep in mind.
Right now we're thinking about getting like 150 copies, like a short run. They're all numbered. We're probably going to keep the first 5 and put them in a box, you know, so they don't get damaged. That's kind of what we're looking at right now. We just want to
Friesens will let you print on demand, right?
They will,
but not the hard copy, not the hardcover.
Not the hard copy. Okay.
Yeah, so we're ordering them right from Friesen Press as a short run before it hits Amazon and does everything else. And then once it's on Amazon, this is what the print on demand looks like. It's the soft cover. So it looks like that. So people can still get the hardcover, but it'll just come to it. Well, they can get it on demand as well. It's just going to
straight from Friesen Press.
It's going to look a little different.
Yeah.
So so we just, and I think also raising the price, I was thinking about that too. And I think that with the testimonials that have come out and the willingness of people to tell us what they think, I think we can do that, set the prices for when it goes live on Amazon and we do the big run. But we're happy to, make it much more accessible to folks right now.
Yeah, it makes sense to have a friends and family discount at the beginning, or your special print run or whatever, just for initial launch or something, and then adjust as you.
That's great.
I agree with Bruce. I thought the $25 for a hard copy sounded really, really reasonable, should we say?
Okay, that's great.
Now when you walk into a store, you're right, Bruce, they're always like $40-50. I thought 25, I thought that would be the soft copy. So that's my thought as well. So.
God, that's nice to hear. Thank you.
It is, because when we place the order tomorrow, we have to lock in the prices for the spring, even as we're doing the orders. So we've been waiting just to make sure. We wanted to check in with some.
Yeah, 25, 30 doesn't matter. Like go 30, or like as he says, $29.99, whatever.
Yeah. Daniela, you had a question or comment?
I just want to respond to the questions you have.
Yeah.
How many books? I would definitely like 4.
Okay.
Book change. Oh, and I would like to put in an early request for copy number 11, please, if that's manageable.
You betcha.
Book change club, yes, very much interested. Postcards sound like super fun. And I totally love Patricia's stuffy idea. I gotta get a gun to Alex.
We've been talking about
so
doing
great.
Stuffy. That'd be so fun of Alex.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially marketing to a younger readership.
Yeah.
And of course the child inside, right? Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of chat. We are not paying attention to the chat at all.
Oh my goodness.
And I completely agree. I completely agree with the pricing, and I think you could even get away with going as high as $34.95. Easy.
Questions in.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you guys are awesome. So compliant.
Yes,
This is
baby
awesome.
Albatross.
Yeah.
That's so good. Thank you. We were not paying attention to the chat at all. This is awesome. Okay, good. Thank you. This is super. Okay, good. And Patricia's in with this stuff. This is really helpful, guys. I have to tell you, we have done focus groups all the way through, and it's been so hugely helpful. It's impacted our world so much. It's impacted the book so much.
Yes.
Every time we go out and ask people, they give us their opinion. It's so cool.
We love it. You spend most of your day telling people not to give you your opinion,
Yeah.
and we want it.
We want it. Awesome.
Jill, you're next.
Hey, so yes, I'm definitely interested in copies, at least 4. And I would say the thought I had was around yes to the baby albatross, for sure. Want lots of those in my life. And also I was thinking about the programs that I run for the women leaders that I work with, you know, looking at how this could be appropriate as a companion to what anybody's doing, right? So it might be a bonus offer that I give people, or it might be, I don't know, something that we could partner on in some way. Because I could see not just for them, but if it's accessible for kids, they love that. And most of my audience are women, and they love that. So that was one of my thoughts.
That's cool. Thank you. One of the packages we'd looked at putting together was like 10 copies that comes with, 10 seats. So basically someone gets to design their own book change club, right? So they get people together and we'll facilitate it, and somebody buys the books and then they can, put all of that together. Because just for that very thing, Jill, because there are people that have said, my whole group needs this, or there's people that already have a book club and they're like, you know what, we're willing to give up reading 2 other books to spend the 3 solid months just going through this together. So that's very cool. Daniela, do you have another question? Or is your hand just still up? Okay, awesome.
This is so helpful. Anything else on the
Girls, ladies, I could probably, I can put you in touch with 3 very good friends that are fellow teachers that are librarians. So, for the grade 7s and 8s. So there's 3 people that I'm very close with that I'll talk about the book once I get my copy, perhaps share it with them. And then who knows, maybe something could happen in the elementary schools. So that's another package or whatever that if you're looking at. Possibly, but I'd have to get a copy of it and feed it to them and have them read it and see what they think, right? So
that'd be great. Thanks, Ross.
Okay, so that I can do that for
library
you.
I wanted in is the Innisfil Idea Lab.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great. Tell us more.
I would like to donate one to the in Sutton. We have the Peter Zowski Library.
Oh yes, of course.
And Peter, it was very, like with his work with CBC and everything that he did with Morningside and Margaret Atwood and Peter Sibold and Ed Dand and all those people. But I would be, that was actually one of my thoughts because I know that that's huge in the literary world. So anyway, that's where one of my copies is going.
Thanks, Catherine.
Love it.
Patricia's got her hand up.
Patricia.
I think I can talk and you can hear me.
Yes.
I have 4 bars.
Nice.
I'm on my modem now, sitting on it. Okay, so I love this. I absolutely love this. And I'm adding up the people and I want to make sure that I get it right. So I'm thinking, it's in the chat, but I'm thinking 8 to 10, I just will add up quietly. Adding is not always my strong suit when I'm under pressure. But I'm thinking of the gifting the people who did the Ask for Directions pilot with me. So they've given up their time. And I think that would be you think that they'll arrive in time for Christmas, but whatever I can say to them.
We're told if we get them ordered by tomorrow, they'll be here in time for Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not necessarily looking for final numbers from you guys. We were trying to get an idea so that we can make some assumptions. That's just to be clear. We're not asking you to commit right this second.
And then we're going to send some links out tomorrow to different packages. So we've got them I think we're going to make some changes to them and then we'll send them out, and then whatever one works for you, you can click on it and sort it. You guys, because you guys are here tonight, you guys get first dibs, because when the signed hardcover copies, like the number of copies are gone, they're gone. We can place another order, but they're not going to be numbered, and they will be available probably in January if we need to make another order right away, or it might not be till the spring. But we want you guys to have that opportunity. And then on Saturday, we're going to put it out in the Facebook group. We'll put it out to the people that we had invited here tonight that weren't able to make it, and they get second round at it until they're gone. And then what we'll do is we'll sell books until we get enough to place a half decent order. Then they'll come in.
Awesome.
Just one other quick thing. Two of my kids, Aaron and Steve, who've just moved out to Vancouver Island at the end of August, are teachers, and they're trying to get themselves established in BC, in one of the school boards there. And I'm thinking, actually, really, I just want to give it to my granddaughter because I think it will help her to she's got a huge change, new culture, no friends, new systems and everything. So this is really timely, but I'm totally down for the book change club. But you just really, and if I can help, I'm happy to help, but we need the stuffy. We need the
stuffy. All right.
We will start the research on the stuffy. I promise.
Yes. Pre-order, prepay. Thanks, Catherine. That's the plan. So yes, as much as we would love to float all of this, we are not, we are not going to do.
No, you can't. Hello, let me check my lottery ticket. That's working for me really well for that retirement plan right now.
What's worked really well, that was part of our story that we didn't say, is that we got accepted together into the Starter Company Plus program at the Small Business Center in Barrie. And we went through that whole program, which taught us a lot about the marketing pieces, taught us about our business. We had a budget, we did all those things. And then we got a chance to pitch, and we got a $5,000 grant. And that's what's helped us along in writing the book and getting the publisher and having something that looks and feels so great, because we did have some money behind us. And we have enough left to place an order for a certain amount of books and a certain amount of swag. And then some of the profits from that will be set aside for marketing efforts, and we'll sell more books in the new year. And all of that will come. It'll all come. And we'll also start doing speaking engagements and things like that. So, and yes,
I think
anybody's helped
something
to order stuffies.
Excellent. I think, well, and I also wondered, and I really am grateful for your help for Becky, by the way. She loves you with good reason, and I knew she would. But also, she said something about Futurepreneur. Are you trying?
Yes, I'm helping her with that.
Yeah, and I just wondered if you knew the inside, because that would be great. Anyway, that's another conversation. But I think the Book Change Club is brilliant, and I think there's so much potential for people to eliminate the angst around change if it's possible.
No, exactly.
And the timing can't be better.
Yeah. And I love your ideas, Daniela. Yes, yes to all of that. And the cool thing is nowadays you can get linked in with something so that we don't even have to create that, right? We give them the images, and then people order it on, like, we'll do a merchandising store, and then they will go and order it, and the other person will create it and send it, and we just get paid. And so we're really happy about the new technology.
You bet. Hey, Jill.
Hey, I don't know, so I had to go take care of Winnie for a second. If this was talked about, but I had this thought where I order gift boxes for the groups that I run, and lots of the Canadian-based ones are looking for Canadian content, and I don't know how much they have in the way of cool kind of books or interesting books, and lots of them have themed boxes. But I thought that would be a place to go to see if somebody would buy, sort of a big order, or could do even a small order to test it, because that could be a really cool market.
Because they would order a case at a time, and we could ship it directly from Freeze and Press to them.
That's a great idea. Thanks, Jill.
So this is some of the work. One of the things we got access to through Freeze and Press, even before we signed with them, was to David Chilton's, he's a wealthy barber. He has this whole video series, like training on not only how to write, but how to market your book. And one of the things he says, you're going to sell more of your copies by selling in bulk to places like that. And Joe, we hadn't thought of that, but he's talking like corporations and different things. And that I had not thought of. That was not on the list yet. So thank you so much.
Apparently Katie Williams does a local one as well.
Oh, beautiful. We will make all those connections.
That's great. Thanks,
Yay.
Danielle. I'll talk to Katie and
I have a great, the person that did mine was actually out of Manitoba. She was exceptional. And so if you want to contact, she was awesome because she would talk to you at least and give you feedback.
I would love that. Yeah, it'd be good to talk to some to say, hey, what are you looking for? What makes sense?
Yeah.
You know, is it going to be the soft cover, the hard cover? Like what's going to help pricing wise? And he talks a lot about how much to cut, because it's better for us to only make maybe $1 or $2 a book so that it gets into that many more hands, because then word of mouth is what sells the book. It's not social media or anything else. It's word of mouth.
Yeah,
So
it's like, hey, you should read this book.
Yeah.
It's that.
So very cool. Patricia.
Thinking there is, when I went through the licensing program at the beginning of the pandemic, one of the people was trying to decide what she wanted to be when she grew up, and she's a pretty cool designer. And she is hooked into Amazon to sell products, to design and sell products. She's just starting out. She's about 3 months in or something, but I wonder if that's a good connection for you.
Yes, please.
Any and all connections would be great right now. And then we can chat and figure out whether or not it's a fit.
Okay.
Anybody else want to respond to the questions or have any other?
Phone and laptop wallpaper.
You know what? I can get one for my Instant Pot wrap. I would love to wrap my Instant Pot in
with Alex. You're so funny. Oh my gosh. This is so great, guys. Does anybody else have something they want to chime in on? Or
we're going to capture the chat. We've got the video. We'll go through it with a fine-tooth comb.
So helpful.
So I think we mentioned most of this already.
Oh yes.
So yeah, ordering for the holidays available. You get first dibs tomorrow. So watch your email. We'll make sure you get at least 24 hours to take whatever action you want. And like I said, when we decide how many, we'll be counting down as the orders come in. And once the actual numbered copies are gone, they're gone. And then we don't mind signing copies.
No.
We can sign more, but if anybody wants a numbered one, and then it'll open to the rest. And there's one more image for you. That's the last image in the book.
And
you have to read the end of the book to know what the image is about.
Yes.
But there you go. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. And even folks listening to the video, like even though you're not here right now because you couldn't be here, you're listening, and we absolutely love you.
Thank you so much. And if you are watching the video, feel free to drop in your thoughts or comments or connections or anything into the messages below the video. We appreciate it.
Back at you, Danielle.
Back at you. Thank you so much. And just for those of you who have been with us all the way along, like this is just, you guys fill our hearts every time we connect and every time we talk about this. Every time somebody's like, how's the book going? Ross stopped me in the parking lot at Edwards last week. Where's the book? I'm like, it's coming like next week. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. And we're really excited. So we'll have an email out to you tomorrow.
Thank you. Mwah.
Have a great night.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.